What's up, everybody, and welcome to the official PlayStation podcast of the KT Data Network. We are the LittleBigKast. On today's show, Drew switches it up. Like, actually, literally switches it up.
Not here.
Rachel plays with wild animals. And Robin falls for a World War I era gangster.
You can't blame me.
All this and more on episode 46, ladies and gentlemen, of the LittleBigKast. Welcome, everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LittleBigKast. I'm one of your hosts today. My name is Jeff Hawks. With me, fortunately, as per usual, Miss Rachel Hernandez.
Hey, I am Rachel Hernandez.
It's true, she is, and she's here with us, which is a win. And Miss Robin Haislett.
Hola.
Doctor extraordinaire, or soon to be Doctor extraordinaire.
Yes, it's a
Professor
process.
extraordinaire.
Yes, it's there. I'm happy.
Teacher.
Yes.
Educator.
Professor of...
Molder of minds.
Yes, molder of young minds.
We are missing one today. However, we're not actually technically missing him, right?
This is his
Mr.
mic.
Drew Tyler is rocking the feed today, so he's going to be switching for us, keeping the vibes flowing, keeping the video going. And so yeah, Drew, if you can hear us, which I know you can because you're directing, thank you.
Thanks.
Muchas gracias.
Outside of that,
She's Spanish
today.
today.
We're running a little bit late. We're about half an hour behind. So we're going to play some catch up and start off with our weeks, what we've been doing. I vote Robin.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's see what I did. I took my child to Build-A-Bear as part of her extended birthday celebration.
What?
So yes, Layla-Palooza has officially kicked off. Mark that on your calendars.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, and Chuck E. Cheese will be happening this weekend. So level of excitement is like up here for that.
That's awesome. I was telling my daughter about Chuck E. Cheese. I was like, we're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's like, what's Chuck E. Cheese? And I was like, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. That's me, Jeff the dad, the failure.
You're fixing it though.
Wow.
So-
It's okay. We'll
But not without Robin and you guys. I needed you guys to step in. You did that. You guys were good buddies.
We can-
pick me up.
Yep.
Figured it
we
out.
Got it. We can
Thank
take
you.
we can take care of it. We can fix your problems.
I appreciate it. So what else is going on?
What kind of bear
Playing
did she
games,
get?
Watching movies,
What did she
TVs.
make?
Ran through the first season of Peaky Blinders. I understand why you like it so much.
Right?
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yes, not only is it a spectacular world that they've created, he's just so pretty.
Now,
Tommy is so pretty. It's just like I freeze frame it and I just stare at his eyeballs. It's like, oh.
Thomas Shelby is a good-looking
Yes,
gangster.
he's
That's true.
a gorgeous little gangster.
But who has the better hair? Thomas or his older brother?
I think Arthur has the better hair.
Arthur Shelby.
Arthur Shelby.
I love how he says it. My name is Arthur Shelby. Yeah.
There's no R. It's Arthur.
Yeah, he's badass.
So yeah, ran through Peaky Blinders because insomnia, and
So what else is going on? I mean,
let's see.
spring break is over.
yes, spring break
Has
is
come and
over.
gone.
What break? I don't think that break really happened. It was just like, what?
I think Rachel would disagree with you. On
You would
the
disagree
idea
with
of
me on
break.
that.
It's a good time.
So why don't you tell me about your spring?
Are you finished?
I'm finished.
No
That was the
way.
extent of my spring break. It's like I watched Netflix because I was that awesome.
Who doesn't love Netflix? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I went to California, guys. It was pretty sweet.
Tell us about it.
I went paddleboarding with some seals. Actually, that's what it was. We go and hang out, paddleboard. I've never been paddleboarding before. I've never
Okay,
been
so
paddleboarding.
how'd it go? 'Cause I went paddleboarding in December for the first time. It was harder than I thought it was going to be, but my wife did better than I did.
Okay. So we had two boards. We had a really long skinny board, and we had like a really long, a fat board. And I picked the fat board, and it was kind of scary because you get out there and it looks fat when you're looking at it, but when you're standing on it,
In waves.
it gets so much more narrow. And
Right.
you're right, it was scary. And as soon as like my feet got splashed by some water, I was like, I don't want to fall in.
How cold was it?
It wasn't too cold. It was
It was cold enough that like you could get back on your board without like hyperventilating. and
Right,
dying?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we had wetsuits too, so that
Okay.
helped a ton. It was like 80-degree weather. Like I would check 80-degree and be like, oh, let's wear shorts. So that was great. Went paddleboarding. It wasn't too bad. I did fall so we were in a harbor, and the harbor kind of splits, so you can go hang out with the boats, or you can go...
I would choose the boats.
Yeah, you can go hang out with the boats, or you can go further into the ocean, and you see more seals and apparently see dolphins, but that's where the waves start accumulating. So once we got to the part with the waves is when we started to fall. So we fell a few times, but we were able to hop back on our board. So that was fun. Met lots of seals, lots of pelicans. The next day we went kayaking, found a secret cave cove filled with pigeons.
Was it like all Assassin's Creed 4?
It was. I never played Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah, you own it though, right?
I do have it. It's in my queue.
That's a thing you should probably be familiar with.
Probably. That's kind of weird. This is weird.
And you're Pirate Rachel.
I know, and I have
And
a
you
decal.
Holy cow! Yeah,
I didn't
Pirate
play it.
Rachel.
I
It's a
didn't-
game
I
about
didn't
pirates.
play
You have an
it.
Assassin's
It
Creed
was
sticker
the
on your car.
awkward. It was
put
the
things together.
awkward. It was the but I'll play it. I'll play it next.
That's okay.
I just needed to take a Ubisoft break because I played Watch Dogs and I played Far Cry, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired
That's
of the
fair.
giant
Yeah.
maps.
That's fair.
Yeah,
So was
playing
that.
Watch Dogs, I'd be tired too.
Yeah, I played that for too long. And I still didn't beat it, unfortunately. So that was fun. Went kayaking was cool. The boat was really heavy. I'm not much help in that department because
So
I'm really weak.
I know that you, at least in the past, you've expressed an appreciation for yoga, right?
Yes.
Did you yoga on the paddleboard?
No, I didn't. But there's.
I tried and fell a lot. and it hurt.
I couldn't imagine. I
Smashed
couldn't.
my face trying to do a
Even
handstand
just
on one.
getting from like from sitting to standing, what like took me. I was shaky.
Yeah,
It was
it's a lot
tough. It
harder
was
than you think
it
it's
was
gonna be,
way
man.
tougher than I thought it was going to be for sure, but it was still worth it. I suggest it. Kayaking was way fun. What else do we do? Oh yeah, longboarding on the Strand was like my favorite part. Strand and just like the whole California culture, I guess, because when I went down there, I was the country girl. I was the cute little mountains country.
You're the mountain girlfriend.
the mountain girlfriend to everyone.
Little
so
house on the prairie
I'm
style.
sure that's how they imagine me. I'm sure they asked if
little bonnet and the apron.
I'm trying to think.
with my
There's
chickens
like,
and
there's got to be shows that express that. Like what movies am I thinking of? There's like old shows with John Wayne where like the little podunk girl moves into the city. You know?
Yep.
Laura Ingle.
What am I
Like
thinking? I mean, Devil Wears Prada works,
Right.
but you're not frumpy.
Wow, you go from like John Wayne to Devil Wears
I don't
Prada.
know.
It's like,
I'm married to a woman. I watch a lot of shows.
yes.
All right. Anyway, sorry. I interrupted.
no, you're good. But yeah, that was great. Lots of stressful LA traffic driving was fun, and that was pretty cool. Just
Very cool.
oceans and stuff and seals. It was
So
good.
while Rachel was partying in the Pacific, I spent my time the way I normally do.
Which shows did you watch this week?
I watched a couple shows. I also went to work a whole lot. But so I watched The Last Man on Earth for the first time. And did you say that you've seen it, Rachel?
No, but I heard about it.
We have a good friend here with us today, Mr. Dalton, says that it's not that good. I totally disagree. The Last Man on Earth was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, and I think Fox is killing it on comedies. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Last Man on Earth are the funniest shows that I've seen this year, period. Nothing else even comes close. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been one of my favorites for a while now. Do you guys
Brooklyn
watch
Nine-Nine's great.
Oh my gosh, funny. You don't?
Cable cutter.
Hulu. Hulu.
And that's money.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is also on Netflix, right?
No.
Are you sure?
Fox is very stingy about it.
Really?
It's not.
Okay,
I would.
so-
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like they're on facts.
Oh.
All right, so we need to.
But
So it's something you're gonna need to see whether we have a LBK, Last Man on Earth.
We also
or
need to watch
Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Snatch.
night.
Ye-
Also Snatch.
We're
yeah,
going to
need
make
see
you
that.
watch Snatch, like all Clockwork Orange style, with like your eyelids peeled
Just
back.
literally glued to the television.
watch
like
the Brad
super
Pitt
glued.
with an English accent. Watch it.
It's not English.
Oh.
It's a pikey accent. If you're gonna talk about Snatch, you
Sorry.
need to watch it first.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But moving on. Anyway, The Last Man on Earth is hilarious. It stars Will Forte. He's
do
also
love Will
the
Forte.
creative producer, the writer. He put the whole thing together, and it's fantastic. Like, the first episode is all kind of like this. What would you do if you could do anything because no one was around? And so he goes bowling. He stacks aquariums from a pet store in a parking lot, and then fills the back of his truck up with bowling balls, reverses at full speed, slams the brakes, and has the bowling balls go and just destroy the fish tanks. Maybe you have to be a guy to appreciate something like that, but for me, that spoke to me on a very
like,
deep level.
I understand this person now.
He has a
It's like,
flamethrower that he just burns things with, like just because he can. It's very funny. It's very well done. But on the gaming front, Helldivers has taken up a few hours of my time. I started a new character in Dragon Age Inquisition. So I started Dragon Age Inquisition originally as kind of a ranged rogue, and I just wasn't into it. It wasn't fun. Like playing as a ranged person with a game that's kind of like, well, like Dragon Age. If you've played Dragon Age, it doesn't feel like you're shooting a bow. Like in Skyrim, in a truly open world game, or Far Cry, using a bow feels like you're using a bow because you're looking down the bow sights. I don't know. There's just a disconnect when you're playing a game that's like a third-person view using a bow. It just wasn't as fun. So I switched to like a dual-wield rogue. And I'm much happier with my situation now. But I'm really enjoying that. And of course, Destiny.
No.
Surprise, surprise. But the big surprise this week is that Drew has been playing Destiny with us. He has now officially run both raids from A to Z.
They grow up so
And been-
fast.
and been helping in both raids. We haven't had to drag him along.
He's
so
like a
that's been
31
cool.
now, isn't he?
He's like I think
What is
he's
he
a
rocking?
31.
What's he rocking these days? Hunter?
He's still playing as a Titan,
Titan.
and
Okay.
he's level 31. Yep, we just got confirmation, ladies and gentlemen. Drew, Night 20 is a 31.
Who would have guessed?
But
Oh my
super good
God.
game. Yeah, he's doing awesome. And he actually helped bring a couple of first-timers through both the Vault of Glass last week, which I think we talked about, but then over this weekend we took those same two people through Crota's End. And it was fantastic. A lot of fun. And this week's Iron Banner. So if you're playing Iron Banner in Destiny this week, link up with me, Mr. Hawks, or Drew at Night 20. Also on the PSNs, he's Night 20. Come play with us, man. And that kind of does it for me, guys. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I've been messing around on Helldivers too. So
Have you?
Yeah, just a
I
little
didn't know
bit.
you were playing yet.
I was messing around with it so I could like understand what it is. So
Okay.
like right when I start playing, I don't embarrass myself.
Right on. Okay.
So-
So what are your initial impressions?
Initial impressions, it feels like Diablo and Destiny had a little baby.
Right? It does, totally. And I freaking love it.
Yeah.
It's so fun. So have you played through like full levels yet, or are you like you
I'm just kind of
literally
messing
kinda
around.
in and out?
I'm just like getting the controls down before I'm like,
Okay.
all right, I'm gonna play Helldivers in front of everybody.
Cool.
So
We'll have to get a team together.
yeah,
'Cause we
and
have
the
4.
fact that I can put it on my Vita,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's like we can do this
Lucky.
anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna cuddle with my Vita and say, I love you, my little Vita.
Perfect.
Lucky.
All right, then I think that wraps up our weeks, and we'll kick
Yeah.
it over to the news. Drew, if you can get those jams going. What's up? I'm handling the news today because Drew is switching like a grown person like the grown man that he is.
Yes.
He decided to
Yes.
be the boss today. He wants to make the calls. That's fine. I'm handling the news. So news number 1, coming from IGN, it is official. Titanfall 2 will be coming to the PS4. This is kind of telling, right? Mm-hmm. Because Xbox One purchased the rights to release Titanfall exclusively, and you know.
They're abandoning a sinking ship.
Respawn and EA jumped on board, right? Like they jumped on board. They were probably paid quite a bit of money to do that. But I can't help but think they must have thought that this was going to be a winner for them. And they ended up going with a console that is less than half the player base that the PS4 now is.
Yeah.
So I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. More of kind of a lessons learned. I think, for me personally, I think going forward into this console generation, I think we're going to see fewer and fewer third-party exclusives.
I think the
on
exclusive are just
any
They're
consoles.
already kind of.
it's a sad idea to start out with that, because then you alienate people who could be playing your game instead of saying, hey, you need to buy this certain console.
Right, and so at what point does, and this I don't think is a question that we can ask, but I think,
Yes,
or
it is.
maybe we can't answer.
Yes, we can.
But at what point does like an EA coming in and saying we're going to pay you $300 million to launch this exclusively, right? That sounds good. And I don't know what, again, I don't know what the cost was that they threw at them. But not only are you losing a player base, but you're also losing mind share. And like you mentioned, you're alienating a group that would have been a fan. And so, like, at what point does the value of that 350 million or whatever number was thrown at them, at what point is that outweighed by like the angry fans that you've just now alienated and the people that aren't talking about this game that the studio worked for years on?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Something worth maybe thinking about.
Deep thoughts.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Deep thoughts from the.
I remember when it kind of helps. Console exclusive games helped me decide which console to get.
Yeah.
When I was younger, so now it's not a problem because you would buy a PlayStation to play Naughty Dog games because that was the one game that I could never play having an Xbox 360, so I could never play the Naughty Dog games. But now it's not like which team are you now because they're all available everywhere. I don't know. It kind of takes some identity away from certain consoles. I think it's better. I mean, like I'm pumped to play Titanfall 2. That was the one game that I did want to play on Xbox 360, and it's just it was kind of unfair. The one, which is exactly why I didn't get one. It is kind of unfair when they do the exclusive games, but I don't know. I think it kind of gives character in a way, in a sense.
No, I can, like,
you know what I'm saying?
A Nintendo game is going to feel very, very different from a game that's going to be released on Xbox. Like, oh gosh, like Assassin's Creed on a Wii U just feels wrong.
Right. Even I played Call of Duty on a Wii U, and I was like, this is weird.
I don't know. I feel kind of dirty, like doing this. Like I'm soiling my Nintendo. Like, no, this is.
It's like an innocent console.
I know.
This is E for everyone.
Yeah, like that's how I feel about that. But it's like consoles have their own identity. Nintendo has established itself as something completely different. And did we not hear about Nintendo and
the
mobiles?
mobiles? They finally did it. Yeah.
What about that?
Yep, they've finally decided that okay, we'll work on.
Fine, we'll make some money.
We'll start doing things that
we'll
people
stop
want.
hating money.
Right. News number 2: PlayStation has just brought in nearly £3 billion for Sony. So in the third quarter of 2014. We have a report from Eurogamer just saying that in the third quarter, PlayStation was profitable to the tune of £3 billion. So it's around £3 billion is what, like $4 billion probably U.S. monies. Notable only because it happened and it's worth mentioning. I suppose nobody's really surprised. They're at 20.2 million units sold in the hands of consumers worldwide. That's a pretty crazy number considering it's been a year and a half on the market.
Yeah.
In other news number 3, free online multiplayer coming this week for all PS4 players. So this is something that happened a couple weeks ago too, right? Where they kind of unlocked or opened the multiplayer aspect of the PlayStation 4 to everyone, regardless of your PlayStation Plus subscription. So if you are not a PlayStation Plus subscriber, first of all, shame on you. Like,
it's like, why wouldn't
you're throwing away amazing games.
I have so many games because of that.
Basically free money. Yeah, like my backlog of games because of it is like I'm solid. We could have a dry spell of no new games for 8 months and I'd still be playing catch up. Probably because I'd be playing Destiny the whole time.
Probably.
Yeah.
But also because there's just a lot of games that I've gotten through PlayStation Plus. So if you don't have it, hop on. I'm kind of feeling like maybe EA had something to do with this, like pushing Battlefield Hardline and saying, hey, we want everyone to have a chance. So
it makes sense.
I would assume that there were some backdoor deals that were like, hey, we'll throw you a couple G's, probably more than $100, but
You've been watching way too much Peaky Blinders.
maybe.
Just
Take my
I
money.
am imagining backdoor deals going down, bookies being robbed.
I think it's too because it's kind of like they're one way to recruit people to join PlayStation still. I mean, like, because Xbox has a whole, we're not going to give you anything else unless you sign up.
Right.
So I feel this is kind of like their way of recruiting, I guess is the way to put it.
I agree. News number 4. Bloodborne has officially gone gold. this is big news for anyone that's been like a Dark Souls or Demon Souls fan.
You died.
Where do you guys sit on this fence, as it were?
It's hard.
I'm okay with it. I like to watch other people play because I'm pretty sure that my controller would end up embedded in my TV somehow.
Right.
So, like, I'm not an avid player of that style of game, but Bloodborne, go for it.
So I'm not a huge like hard gamer either because I get super pissed. So this news blip actually, and maybe this will be a topic for another day, but it started me thinking like, what games have you played that actually made you angry? Like, what are your most anger-filled, like rage-filled gaming moments that you've had? And mine points directly at Demon Souls. Like, I have never played a game where I felt as incompetent as a gamer as I did playing Demon Souls for the first time. I couldn't make it 15 minutes into gameplay without dying. I never made it past 15 minutes in because I would die over and over and over again. I kept losing my loot, and people would like leave messages like, be careful, there's a witch ahead. And I'd be like, okay, there's a witch, I'm ready. I step forward and I'm dead. Every effing time. Like, most frustrating thing ever. I played the game for 4 hours, returned it to GameStop, $60 purchase, $20 return.
Oh.
I was so frustrated, but we'll save that conversation.
Oh yeah,
for
we can
another day.
That's a
dig
whole
into this
different
at
thing.
another time. I want to hear
I think that would be
Drew's
fun.
rage. Like, apparently the little like MC Escher
Yeah.
game was just like, no.
What was the name of that one? That was weird that made him as angry as it did. Echochrome. Yeah, Echochrome like super
okay, Drew,
pissed
we're
off
talking
Drew,
about
which is
you.
weird. Because he's such a chill dude. If you know Drew, he's a pretty mellow guy. Not too many things get him riled up. I wish he would have been streaming it while he was angry. Like, it would be interesting to see Drew mad. You know? Anyway, moving on. News number 5. Spring Fever Week 3 is officially out. Jamestown Plus is their sale of the week. I don't know too much about it. I watched a couple trailers. I probably will not be picking it up. I didn't think it was interesting enough to grab it. But there are a ton of games on sale.
Spoken like a true gamer.
Yeah. Ton of games on sale. Like pretty much every Assassin's Creed that's ever been made is on sale
That's
right
what I
now.
noticed, and the DLC for it too.
Yep.
For a lot
So
of them.
from Black Flag, actually from the original Assassin's Creed on the PS3 for $9 down to Assassin's Creed Unity for $41.
Still, no, but 41 would not be enough. Like, you'd have to pay me to
Right.
play Unity again. Like,
Yeah, I need to give it years back to you.
no, keep
actually.
it. I don't need it. Like, it would end up as a frisbee.
And finally, Sony launches PlayStation Vue as a bigger, pricier internet TV. So Rachel, you sent me this. What do you know about this?
So it's going to be kind of like the alternative cable, I believe. It's going to be that whole Netflix streaming.
It's all an online.
So like CNN
Okay.
and like news shows. Yeah, kind of like cable shows is what I got from it. So it's going to be
Cable-y?
So
yeah,
it's essentially
cable-y.
a cable service without paying for a cable
Pretty
service. Well,
much.
I mean, you're paying them for it, but you're
But
not
it's-
paying Comcast, which at this point, I'm in.
Right?
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
just
know.
wish Sony could include internet in that.
Right. That's kind of why. It's kind of why I got tossed. Well, because yeah, you see they're launching like some type of internet that you think it's just like Netflix or like Hulu, but there's a lot more newsy stuff on it.
Right. So the problem that I have with it is you're still paying for internet
Yeah.
somewhere else, and that's where Comcast nabs you. Right? Is like they come
But
in
we
and they
still
say,
have this.
"Hey, you need fast internet. For fast internet, it's $46, but if you want even faster internet and 400 channels you'll never watch, it's only $10 more." And you're like, "Well, I'd really like the faster stuff."
Might as
I mean,
well.
a 1.5 megabyte per second download at $40 versus a 50 megabyte per second download at $65
Yeah,
for
around
6
that.
months, and then they jack it up like $120.
Yeah, it's like, then we'll take your firstborn.
I freaking hate Comcast so much. But that's the world we live in, and I'll survive.
Voila.
We all rage at games offline and online.
Ah, yes.
But that's why we love games we rage at. PJ Jammers, I agree. So that's a guy in our
Gamers.
Twitch chat. I'm just
Gamers.
jumping out of
Good.
the normals.
I
The normal cat.
didn't say Call of Duty on the Wii was not fun. I'm sure it's fun. Just was not my cup of tea.
I didn't like it at all.
Just
like having
felt
to
weird.
point and like aim
It was just weird.
your weapon like
Right.
this just feels
Just weird. So it's cool. It's fun for
feels
you.
like-
That's
I'll
cool.
bet if you looked at it, like if you took away the Wiimotes, do you have any idea how crazy you would look playing a Wii game? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Like, what if what I'm
Yeah.
doing right now, I had nothing in my hands and there was no TV in front of me? Like, you just look like a psychopath. Anyway,
Well,
that does it for the news, ladies and gentlemen. We will move on to our new release for the week, which I think Rachel.
I sure will.
I
gonna
tried
handle.
to be you last week. It didn't work out.
Didn't. All right, so the things coming out this week of March 18th.
That sounds right.
Look at that.
So it came out yesterday, the 17th.
Right.
But yeah, whatever.
A few things, whatever, you know. Okay, so for the PlayStation 4, we have Battlefield Hardline, Bladestorm Nightmare, Cabela's African Adventures, Final Fantasy Type 0 in HD, and Jamestown Plus. Do we have Jamestown Plus side? For PS3, we have 5-Star Wrestling, The Awakened Fate Ultimatum, Battlefield Hardline as well, Bladestorm Nightmare, and Tennis in the Face.
That makes me so happy.
That's a great name.
That's a really good name.
Tennis in the face.
For the Vita, we have Soldner X2 Final Prototype, and also Tennis in the Face. And then Digital Classics is Cars and Echo Knight.
Oh, yeah. So that's all the new
yeah.
releases. If you haven't picked them up yet, is there anything on here that you guys are planning on getting? I know Rachel's
I'm
all in
curious
for that
about tennis.
Cabela's African Adventures.
For real, man. I'm going to shoot some lions and stuff. No, they're actually building a Cabela's right by my work. So
In Layton?
in Farmington.
Farmington. Wow.
There's going to be a giant Cabela's. So maybe I can go there and
You
take
have so many people buying coffee from you with
naps.
camo.
I twitch. Yeah. Great. It'll be
Oh
fun.
my gosh,
Fun
hipster
time.
hunters.
Oh,
Yes, please. With the mustaches.
Anyway, moving on. Drew's not here, so we're not going to have the song today, but the indie-ish game of the week was Apotheon. So this was a pretty cool game. I thought
lots of good
the
aspects to it.
idea of it, I think, was better than the actual execution of the
I
game.
like how you're already hedging.
Yeah.
It's published
I
by
wanted to be
Alientrap.
enthusiastic, but then I was like, whoa, pump the brakes, yo. Pump the brakes, Snoop. This isn't as good as maybe you're going to lead on. So it was published by Alientrap, developed by Alientrap. I forgot to put the Metacritic score, but I'm pretty sure it was a 77 on Metacritic.
That's what it says.
And yeah, so I'll give a breakdown of the story, and then we can kind of discuss our impressions of it, like we do every week.
No.
If you've been watching or listening for any period of time, you would know that that's what we do. So here we go. In the time of ancient Greece, the Iron Age draws to its end. The gods have begun to punish the humans of Earth, resenting their arrogance and defiance among their societies. Zeus, the king of all the gods, has forced his children to stop giving their gifts of life to Earth, so that all humans are soon deprived of animals, food, and even daylight, with most of the earth cast into darkness. Man begins to fall prey to the savage destruction of their cities. Meanwhile, in the village of Dion, in the foothills of Olympus, invaders ransack the entire area and lay waste to most of the villages. A young warrior named Nikiandros awakens to find his home destroyed and many of the raiders killing Dion's soldiers and citizens. Arming himself up, and with the help of the leftover soldiers, sounds like something you'd keep in the fridge, Nikiandros is able to cast away the invading forces and slay their leader. In the temple, Nikiandros comes face to face with Hera, the wife of Zeus, who congratulates him for his victory in saving the village. Hera informs Nikiandros that Zeus's anger with the humans, as well as her hatred for his many affairs with other gods and mortals, which is weird considering he's their dad. Wanting revenge,
He's everyone's
as
dad.
well as a way to help Nikiandros save his people, Hera asks him to slay Zeus and his siblings so that Nikiandros might bring back their gifts and save humanity. Nikiandros agrees and ascends to Mount Olympus to begin his hunt against the gods of Greece. So
that was a nice little bedtime story.
That was great.
that was probably
beautiful.
the best part
That
of the
was-
whole game, right?
Yeah, I was like, you got the voices in there.
Perfect.
Like, way to go.
Son of Zeus.
So also, if you don't know who Nick Andrews is, isn't this the
Yeah, it's like
the
start game. I'm running through a side-scrolling.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure out who he
Village.
is until he gets up there, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, I'm controlling little like
right? There's fire.
like stickman, like
blood.
grease like Greco-Roman art dude.
Yeah, it looks like as you play the game, it almost looks like it's hieroglyphics that have been
Yeah.
carved into a wall, right?
It looks like
Which
those
is what I
pots.
like.
That's
Yes,
what I thought of.
exactly.
I thought of
Right.
the Hercules pots. Yep.
the Hercules.
I was.
pots.
That's one.
Fantastic.
That's what I
You know
thought.
the
That's what I.
plates from the cartoon Hercules when the women are singing and dancing.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. That's
And it's
exactly.
coming from a mountain top. That's the song, I think, right?
It is. That's impressive.
Yeah,
So that's what I thought
exactly
of.
what it is. That's
Yes.
exactly what it is, and it's awesome. So the art style, I think we all agree, was fantastic.
Creative and awesome.
I think we all like the art style. I didn't mind the gameplay. I think you guys, it bothered you, right?
I didn't like it. It was a little clunky. You guys say clunky, and clunky was what it was. It was like your typical side scroller, except there was like more
There was way
to do
more.
for your typical side scroller. Like
Right.
the more weapons I got, I think the more annoyed I got. It was like,
Just like,
yeah.
I have to learn a new thing.
It's like,
I have to shoot
oh,
an
there's
arrow,
this, and I have to
throw a
change
spear.
my weapon. da, da, da.
Yeah, so that's where I had the problem was the inventory system and like the movement of inventory within that system. That was where I felt like it fell off the, I don't know, it just fell off this like platform that I had originally put it on, because seeing it and seeing like as you see on the screen right now, I loved the lamps. So when you'd pick up a torch and you'd be walking around with a torch and it was black, I thought that looked awesome.
Yeah, I like turning it off too, and it was just.
Right,
I
so
thought that
if you
was
had to
cool.
hide or sneak past somebody, you could turn the torch off. I thought that was really cool, and I liked the way that they did that, but it fell apart with the inventories, and it's not very often that like an inventory system would turn me off as much, but I almost couldn't help but compare it to Guacamelee.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I thought about Guacamelee a lot as I played through this, and I was like, if Guacamelee has set a bar at 10, like you've got to be at least coming close to that, and these guys I just didn't feel like were anywhere near the level of Guacamelee.
Fair enough. I found out you could break once I found out you could break the boxes, or I started breaking all the
Yeah, it
boxes.
took me
Yeah.
forever to learn that. I
Yeah.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, but you and I are just
it was
such
bad, it
looters.
was
We're
bad.
so bad.
all the boxes.
All the boxes.
Smash.
Is that how it
Actually,
is in real life too?
Yes. Like if I see
You're on
like
vacation and there's a wooden crate. You're like, I have to do it.
intentions to smash. Yeah, no. I blew up some lamps too. I think I set the chemist on fire a couple of times. I was like, smash! What's in the light? Smash! But it was. But it was fun. It was different. I don't think I'd go back and play it.
Would
The
you
story was
recommend it?
cool. The story, it depends. I would have to ask what you're into.
Right, it depends
to
on the player,
recommend it.
right? Because that would be the same answer I would give.
Right.
If I were having a conversation with someone, they're like, "Oh, I love 2D side scrollers, platformers. I'm into that world." I would say you should check out Apotheon.
The thing about it too is it was mazy. Like I didn't feel like the map was a very good map.
I agree.
Because like I'm used to like it would give you an objective, and then you have to.
And you were never really sure where.
You
to go.
never
Yeah.
sure. So I
felt
felt
the same
like
way.
that was a problem too. It just said like, oh, go find the hunter, and that's where, like where. So that's what I
So Metacritic gave it a 77. What does Rachel give it?
give it like a 49, maybe almost halfway.
I'd give
But
it
I didn't play very far.
thinking.
Maybe let's do that.
I would say like 65.
65. See, and I
Ish.
think that's where mine would fall as well.
Cool.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a good time killer for a couple hours, but maybe not even a couple hours.
But
It was
Drew
a good
liked
time
it.
Killer
Yes,
temporarily.
Drew
Drew liked it.
genuinely liked it.
Drew would probably
So.
play it again. I don't know what to give it, but
Drew, what would you give it? He'd give it a 72. He's very precise.
boom. But yeah,
To not put it at a 5.
72.8.
and it makes sense why
I'm
he
at
would
a-
like
I-
it.
like if I'm gonna give things ratings, it's either like a 70 or 75, or an 80 or an 85. To go to 72, that's a very
That's just how he
precise
felt.
number.
And I'm
I
pretty sure
appreciate that, Drew.
I'll bet you anything that Drew has a rubric drawn up. for
Probably.
this.
He knows exactly what he's doing. So anyway, this has been episode 46, guys, of the LittleBigKast. We're gonna wrap it up there because Rachel has class today. Correct? You don't?
Told you it was
class was
canceled
Oh, yeah,
for the
I
next 2
forgot.
weeks. But yes, I do. If you want to
Either
wrap
way.
it up. Yes, I have
Either
class.
way,
in theory.
5 o'clock is when we wrap, so we're going to be wrapping up. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 46, everybody, of the LittleBigKast. Again, my name is Jeff Hawks. You can find me at Jeff Hawks on the Twitterverse. With me, again, as always, Rachel Hernandez
And Pirate Rachel with a 3 instead of an E.
and Miss Robin Haislett.
Robin Haislett at Robin Haislett. I'm so easy
And
to find.
producing the show for us today, Mr. Drew Tyler at Night20. Follow him on Twitter. Follow us all on Twitter. Feel free to throw questions our way. And actually,
We're generally nice people.
next week, we are going to be getting into our most angry, rage-filled gaming moments. So feel free to tweet at us at LittleBigKast. Let us know what your
Also-
most angry moments were.
Unfinished Swan is our indie game.
Yes.
So play that with us.
So jump into it, play Indie Game of the Week, join the conversation, let us know what you think, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Adios.
Goodbye.